bombshell has entered the villa, and it's in the form of a new book logging app. Yes, we have already spoken about this. I think literally in my last video I was like, I have a problem with downloading every single book app that possibly exists. Essentially they all do the exact same thing. They all look relatively different, so usually most people will just choose which one they prefer. One, the look of, and two, the ease of it, because the features don't vary too much. However, there are some features that differ them all. I've already done a video on page bound versus Goodreads, Storygraph, etc. But the new one that has entered the villa is margins. Now, margins went viral on January 1st on Twitter, and the reason being is because the artistic UI is very different to, say, Goodreads or Storygraph. However, someone then decided to go around saying that it was fully AI when it is not. So they have artists creating all the art for the UI, and I myself, I messaged them and on Instagram, and I was like, hello, because they have this feature where your profile picture gets turned into, it looks like it's drawn, and yes, you can assume that this is made from AI. So I DM'd them and I was like, hello, is this feature AI? And they messaged me straight away and they were like, no, this is not AI, this is literally just like a filter, like an Instagram filter. I was like, fab, gorgeous. Obviously a lot of people's skepticism comes from the fact that the founder is an AI. I don't know if he's in the business of AI or whatever, but he is involved somehow with AI. However, there is no AI on the app, and if there is AI in terms of book recommendations, we've seen this all the time regardless. On Storygraph, the AI on Storygraph pisses me off so fucking much. It is absolutely everywhere. Someone did say you could turn it off, didn't know you could do that. But the problem about Storygraph's AI is that it's in your face, it's there. You don't get a choice, essentially, to say, yes, I want to use this, no, I don't want to use this. It is used regardless. So even if you turn it off and say you don't want to see it, it's still being used to generate recommendations and stuff. But there is no proof yet that Margin's recommendations of books is AI. I think it's just a natural kind of link that they've made between the founder and his link to AI, which makes sense. However, Storygraph does this, Goodreads probably does this. Fable was the one app that I saw that got absolutely fucking drilled for using AI, and stopped using AI completely as well. And Pagebound, my OGs, I love them so much, are the one app that is completely anti-AI. Completely. They do every single thing by hand, and it's female founded. Just saying. So have I used I've tried Margins? Yes, I tried Margins. I do love the UI. I think the UI is very cute. I also love that they used real artists for it, obviously. I do think Margins is something that comes across as special for maybe fantasy readers, and that's really sweet. I do think that was bound to kind of be created at some point. At the moment, is there anything that makes it stand out aside from the UI? No. Is it brand new? Yes. So really, this is just a UI decision at this point. I had to think on like the things that makes all of these stand out, and the reason I use all of them is because I have OCD diagnosed. So I'm a freak when it fucking comes to organization and things like that, especially when it's something that literally is my identity, books. It's a severe problem. So what makes them all stand out? Goodreads is, and I think I said this in my last video, it stands out because it is the oldest and the wisest. The UI has gotten better. It's not the best, but it still has gotten better. And it has all the basics. One feature that is brand new with Goodreads that I personally love is that when you review a book that hasn't come out yet, you have to say where you got it from. But instead of like you writing it out, which I always forget to do, you just like click from the options, like did you get this from NetGalley, or was it sent to you by a publisher? Obsessed. I'm obsessed. That is the best feature ever. So that is really exciting for me, because that tells me that there's something in the works here as well with Goodreads, where like they're getting a bit more serious about it as an app, and probably like listening to more readers. Storygraph, in my personal opinion, the UI is still worse. Does it have better stats though? Yes, which is what makes it stand out. Also, something I love about Storygraph is that you can manually input a book, whereas Goodreads you have to like go through a whole fucking process of asking it to be input and whatever. Like, the process is so vastly different. So for example, I read a book that isn't out anywhere. It's like a little thing you get if you're like on the author mailing list. You literally cannot find it anywhere. I can easily manually in seconds input that on Storygraph. On Goodreads it's going to be impossible to put on there. So immediately my end of year stats are going to be off. So that's one of the main differences as well. I use Bookly. Bookly is very different to all of these. It's not a social media, no followers, no nothing. It's just a logging app. It also helps you time, so you can time your reading. I don't use that much, but I do love that that's there. It's just very simple. I don't recommend it if you love things that are extremely in-depth, but I do recommend it if you want something super simple that is also like not ugly to look at. Then we obviously have Fable. Fable is beautiful to look at. It has a great UI. My problem with Fable is that it feels like an app that I go on, I log, and I get off of it, whereas like Goodreads, I'll be on there for ages. What makes Goodreads and Storygraph, both of them, stand out in comparison to all the other apps is they have challenges, and it's like yearly challenges or monthly challenges, and it's for everyone, so you can't like choose or like opt in. It's just there, and that's what I prefer. I don't want there to be a million challenges and you choose one. I like when they have a set amount for the month or year and it's like participate or don't. I prefer that so much. Pagebound, female founded, beautiful UI, brand new, so it's gonna be in the works still, but so far I love it. I love how beautiful it is. I've already seen it improve over the past few months, and anti-AI, so I feel like you can't lose. Again, the only thing that makes it not stand out to the rest is the challenges thing, but it has other features. My favorite feature, and I use this obsessively with Pagebound, is the planning. So you can plan each month of what you want to read up to a whole year. I use that religiously. I think that is amazing. And then obviously we have margins now, and I love little things like the filter on the profile picture and the artist's UI. I mean, Pagebound also has used artists for their profile pictures. They're really different though in UI. Okay, my camera died, so I'm just going to finish this here. But Margins is brand new. It has literally had like 3 shutdowns in the last 3-ish days because of how many people are now using it, and because it's so new. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I think it's one of those things where it's just personal choice, but I do think Pagebound with the list feature and Goodreads with the new like arc feature and things like that are such standout things, and Storygraph with the challenges, that I find them hard to not use them all, and I almost wish that there was one app that just had all of that. However, I've now been loyal to like all of the apps that I would feel bad not using them unless it was just naturally I fell off from using them. There was one, I think it was like TBR Bookshelf, that I stopped using. I used it for like over a year, but then I can't remember what happened, but it somehow glitched and got rid of all the books that I had read since I downloaded the app, and that frustrated me so much I never used it again, because there's no way I'm manually inputting all of that again. So there are things that will make you stop using apps, but it's completely up to you. I think it's going to be interesting to see Pagebound and Margins develop, and I am looking forward to that. But ultimately, there's no need to use it all if you don't want to, and it should be a fun thing. I think that's the conclusion I've come to. Anyways, if you have used any of these, let me know what you think. I'm looking forward to logging as always. I will see you in my next video. If you enjoyed this, then subscribe and like this down below, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Love you. Bye.